Hi everybody and welcome back to Gardens and Crystals with me, Wesley Peterson, and today I have a Monstera deliciosa video for you about rejuvenating a plant that has gone wrong. We all make mistakes, things happen in our lives, and things don't always go the way we want with our plants. It's a fact of life, it happens to everybody, and I am going to show you the reality of it. Now behind me here, you can see my beautiful queen, as I call her. I've done a couple of videos on this wonderful plant and a propagation video where I took a cutting from the top of the plant, and well, this plant at that point was in a white ceramic pot. It had no drainage holes and I had leckables at the bottom of the pot. And I wasn't here very much because I live mostly now at our Crystal Cottage because I'm working close to there. So I'm only here every 2 weeks or so, sometimes a shorter period, sometimes a little bit longer. I've had some help watering my plants when I've not been here, and things have deteriorated with my beautiful Monstera deliciosa behind me here. So what I did in desperation is I came home, and when I saw she was drooping and hanging and dehydrated and things weren't looking the way they were supposed to be, yellowing leaves, I decided the first thing I need to do is get her into a new pot, out of the soil that she's in, get her into a new pot with drier soil and an aerating pot so that she can breathe. Because I think the main problem with this plant was she was in a ceramic pot, even though the soil I'd made was bark and soil and perlite and so forth and aerating, I think she got overwatered, the soil got saturated, and she was sitting in soil, and this plant has now got root rot. Because when I took her out of the other pot and put her into this terracotta pot, which is not glazed at all, so it's completely breathable, it was too late. I was too late. I say I was too late because when I saw the roots, many of them were really badly damaged. There are in fact hardly any roots kind of working in the soil at all. But when I look at my plant now, she's been in this pot a couple of weeks. I see that she's starting to try to push out some new leaves out of the stem. So she is coming back to life. And I don't want to wait and see if this plant is going to fully recover and bush out, because I think it really has gone too far with the roots. It won't be able to support the new leaves and so forth that come out anyway. So I am going to prune back, take lots of cuttings at every area on this plant that has aerial roots, and I'm going to make myself some beautiful propagations, and then when they've got lovely roots again, I will be able to put all the cuttings back into my terracotta, completely aerated pot with completely aerated soil and start this plant off again. And I think a positive thing about this is I will be able to get these bigger, maturer leaves that are growing at the top here straight down into the bottom of the pot, so that the whole plant grows out with bigger, maturer leaves as it goes up. Because I had lesser mature leaves down here, medium, and then at the top I had the big, beautiful, mature leaves. And I'm going to be able to get that from the bottom now. And this time, I'm starting off the right way. No layer of leckables at the bottom of the pot, because that raises the water saturation level. I didn't realise about all this before. This is something new to me. So if you put leckables in the bottom of your pot, you're going to raise the water saturation level up, which means that it's going to be wetter, closer to the roots of your plant, rather than draining right through to the bottom into the tray and the water coming out into the tray, so that the plant doesn't want to use will evaporate away and won't become too much. So anyway, my queen here, she's going to have a complete transformation. Now I'm seeing this as a positive thing, people. Yes, we make mistakes. And what happens when we make mistakes? We learn from them. And I've had to learn the hard way. But at the same time, I know that I can replenish this plant, and I know that I'm going to have another lovely plant with time if I keep doing everything right. But starting off with a terracotta pot that is completely unglazed is a very good start, because these roots do not like to sit in water at all, because they will rot out just like my plant has done. So anyway, let me get on with this, because I want to get on to the second part of my video, which is so much more brighter, so much more positive, and it shows you how you can save a plant that you think is not going to make it. As I said, my queen here, she's starting to try and push out small stems for new leaves, so she's making a recovery, but the roots won't be able to support all of this. So I'm going to prune her into segments and propagate her, and then put all the bits back in the pot and let it grow up again. So let me get my scissors and start cutting my queen up. Ugh. Anyway, she gave me a beautiful show, and she will again. Why am I showing you this video? Why am I showing you that mistakes happen? Because I want you to have the chance to learn too, okay? It's not all beautiful plants and rosy and shiny. Plants get dehydrated, plants rot, plants get insects all over them, and you get problems, and it can spread, they can yellow out, the lighting might not be good enough, the soil, whatever. There could be so many factors in your microclimate of your home that makes a plant not do very well. But most of my plants are doing absolutely fine, so I just want to get in and show you parts of this plant close up and what I'm going to do to rejuvenate her. So I'll start here. I can see a lovely, see how I'm going to do this. I can see a lovely aerial root that is having a hard time up here, but the leaf is still alive. So I'm going to cut below that internode. And I'm going to have to, the root. So this was one of the top leaves. You can see it's starting to yellow out, but it's still quite green here. And it's doing its best to survive. But if you look at the stem, I know there's no moisture getting up to the top of this plant, because it's completely and utterly dried out. Look at that, completely. Even the air root is completely dry. So what I need to do is prune this up a bit, this air root, because otherwise I won't be able to get it into a propagation vase, to around about here. This is what I did when I did my first propagation. I have a video on that, and that plant, it's doing very well, and I'm going to show you it in a minute, because that plant is going to be potted up today and replacing my mother plant here until I get all these other cuttings thriving and ready to go back in the pot. So this is the way to save your plant. This is not going to make it if I leave it in the pot like that, because there is no moisture getting to this plant whatsoever. She needs help. So that was the first part. Put that on the table. And I'll just carry on getting lots more bits to show you how you propagate this wonderful plant. Some of these roots are right into the pole, so I'm going to just cut them straight off. Now look at that. This one's got 2 leaves on it. And a little bit of root and very dried out, but perfectly viable for propagation. The whole plant is viable for propagation. If you've got any aerial roots, you can go in and chop this plant up exactly there, and you have a viable new plant to repot after. This one had 3 aerial roots going into the pole. And the leaf, again, completely dehydrated, but it's going to do really well once it gets into some water and can rehydrate and grow new. So we just need to get around the back now to get the bigger part of the top there chopped off. But I need to know where the next aerial root is. I can see this one has 3. Oh, it's really thick. And so I'm going to get all 3 with it, because that will really make the plant happy. So look at this. This was a big piece. And that's the top. 3 aerial roots here. Now 4 actually out of the stem. And what I want to show you with this part is, it's a little bit thicker, but it's crinkling together, so it's not getting enough moisture at the top part. At the bottom part is still kind of okay where the aerial roots were. And I want to show you this part was much happier because it is actually pushing out a new leaf bud. So look here, you can see, if I take this off, you can see a new leaf bud coming out already on this part. 2 actually, 1, is that 1? Maybe 1 there, but definitely 1 here. So I can see that this piece is going to give me out a new leaf straight away on this piece here once it starts getting hydrated in the water while it's propagating. Absolutely fantastic. Now, it obviously doesn't need all these leaves while it's propagating, so I'm going to cut the lowest ones off. They won't be able to be there anyway because of the water. And leaves without nodes are not viable to propagate, so we don't need to worry about that. I think I'd like to leave, I don't know the way I want to keep it, but I might just, well, seeing as this one has a new leaf coming out here, where this leaf is, I can cut that one off. And I just want to keep the 1 leaf. So I'll cut this one off and this one off, because then the plant gets to save more energy for the new leaf, and it has this leaf giving it enough energy to be able to photosynthesize while it is propagating. So that's another piece. Nice. Now we go in, and I have my little one at the front here again. It's got lots of aerial roots that are in the pole, so I had to take those off. Another one, 3 aerial roots that will start rooting out in water easily. Another one here. Yes, a little one, very much in need of rehydration. Another one here. I'll give this one 2 aerial roots. So just a little piece, but I want to give every part. I want to give every part a chance. So I'll have more baby plants to be able to put back in the full pot to put around the pole again, right? So I need as many of these as possible kept alive. This one has a slightly longer aerial root. Take a bit of that off, and it's so dehydrated, but this one is showing signs of a little leaf coming out on it. I'm going to keep it anyway. I'm going to keep every single piece. I really am. So, get these ones that have got all their roots going into the coconut fibre. Oof, into my face. That's her saying, thanks a lot for this. This is not what I expected. So, even a stem like this, with aerial roots on it, has the possibility to grow into a new plant. So I will put that in the water with the others, and we'll see what happens. So I have a few more to go, and then I will be ready. Lots of air roots here that are in the way. So now I have another stem part here, and I can actually see on this stem that there, right at the top, there is actually a new leaf trying to form, but this stem has become so dehydrated that it's struggling. So I'm going to keep this, whatever the case, because I have a leaf trying to come out there, all these air roots. So this is viable. There's actually a leaf here that started. Yes, there's a leaf coming out here as well. So, and there was another one coming out there. So if I can get all that into a propagation vase, I'm going to keep the whole thing. Cut this back so I'll be able to get it into the vase. It doesn't hurt cutting the air roots back. It's going to be in water and it will start growing out new roots, auxiliary roots off the bits of air roots and or out of the ends. I've seen that and I will show you that in my beautiful propagated part of this plant that I had from earlier. So let's put this down for now. Now we're just getting onto bits of stem, but as I said, maybe little bits like this. The little bits of stem at the bottom I'm not going to keep, and especially right at the bottom where it is actually completely, you can see on this stem, sadly, it's root rotted and browning out. It's turning black completely at the bottom of the stem. So that basically meant that that would have travelled all the way up these stems eventually and everything that was trying to grow out would die off. This is the only way to save everything. Yeah, I'll keep that. I'll keep that bit of stem. You never know. I can see a leaf bud coming out on it. And the rest here I will not keep because I can see the root rot. Oh wow. Now this part is going to show how it's rotted out completely. That is what root rot looks like. And look at the whole stem. It's black all the way up to here. The plant is not getting any energy whatsoever. And it's so sad. But it's a new beginning. Remember that. So here I have the last piece of stem now. This is much thicker. It's much more hydrated and has a few spots, bumps where I can see that leaves want to start growing out. So I'm going to keep this part of the stem as well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go out and rinse all these off very well, thoroughly, spray them down in the shower and then bring them back, and then I'm going to put them in propagation vases so you can see all of my cuttings that I have and all of the amazing plants that I will get again from my one mother plant bush here. And then we're going to move on to the second part of the video where I show you my propagation from my video I did earlier. And, well, I had two different propagations. I had one that had a leaf that was near the top, a very new leaf, and it turned brown and yellow on the bottom part of the leaf, and the top part of the leaf was kind of okay, and it was struggling, but it had a root node, so I just pruned it off, put it in water, and it grew roots, and I've potted it up. And beside that, I have a stem that had no leaves, but had root node bobbles. They weren't even like this. They weren't like this at all. They didn't have the root. They had just little bobbles on the side. I don't know if I have something to show that, but little bobbles on the sides. And I thought, I'm going to put that in water and see what happens. And it grew out roots, and I potted that next to my other propagation, and it has a leaf bump coming out of the side of it now, so I know I have two plants in one pot that are doing really well, and then I will show you me potting up my large propagation. Oh, my cutting that I took that has got beautiful roots, and I really hope it's going to be happy in its new pot. So, I want to get rid of this. I don't want this in the background anymore. And then I will wash off the leaves and I will be right back. So now I have all my washed off pieces of my Monstera deliciosa queen. And look at that pile there. Now we're ready to put all these beautiful pieces into my glass propagation vases in front of me here. And this is going to take a couple of months, but these are going to look lovely again in the end, okay? I will be able to make myself a new plant. So, the smaller ones that are very hangy, I will put into maybe this one. This one's got a bigger root, so I'll put this into this propagation vase. In it goes, first one. Look at this big leaf here. This one. That is quite wide, but I think I'm going to be able to get her into here, just like that. That's perfect because that holds her up, her leaf up. Lovely, just like that. And then I have another one here. This is a two-leaved one. Maybe this one can go into this vase here, just like that. And a couple more small ones here with lots of lovely nodes. It's quite wide, so I'll put that one in with this one. And I think I'll put this one in here too. Just like that. So there's 3 in there. Now you see, all their leaves are very dehydrated and wrinkled together and looking tired, but just wait. I think just in 24 hours tomorrow, they will be opened up and they will be much more hydrated, much happier, and well on their way to recovery. Another small one here. I mean, these leaves are quite lovely and green still, so there's nothing wrong with them in that respect. I'll put this one in with this double one here. The only thing is, I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to get them out again afterwards. I might just leave that one on its own. I'll put this little one in this vase here that I have here, down here. I have another big one here, and I'm going to have to put that into a separate vase of its own as well. And another little one here. This little one can go in together with this one here. These two can be together, that's fine. One like that, one like that. So look at that already. I have myself a jungle of Monstera deliciosa here. I need one more propagation vase. And the propagation vase that I need to use has my propagation that I'm going to be planting up in it. So I will go and get that and show you how wonderful that is looking so that you see what is going to happen with these propagations here. And then I also have all these stems. I have 4 stem parts that I am going to put into a vase on their own as well and let them root out. And they will also be able to be placed into my pot again that's going to be back here later. But let me just go and get now my finished propagation so you can see how beautiful the roots get after a couple of months. So here it is, people. This is my beautiful top cutting that I took off my queen. And this has been propagating very well and the leaves look beautiful. Look at those leaves. They're hydrated, they're happy, and they got fenestrations and big slits. And look, if I put this here, which is what I'm going to do when I've potted it up later, I will already have myself another beautiful Monstera deliciosa to look at while I'm waiting for all my propagations to catch up with this one. But this one, I am going to be keeping in a pot on its own because I want a separate plant that I can see is doing really well in a smaller pot. And I really love these leaves. I just want to let this bush out as one statement piece on its own. And I might even be taking this one with me to Crystal Cottage, while the other ones here will all be regrouping in the larger pot on top of the cabinet here. So for now, I'm just going to put my last cutting and my stems into some ceramic pots I have, just to keep them in water so they start hydrating straight away. One moment. So here I just have a white pot, and I'm going to put all my stem cuttings into this pot for now. Until I get myself sorted with another glass propagation pot that I can get with light. Oh, that one's not giving me much space. This one can get in there. That root's pretty long. I can still. So, oh, no, I need to cut that root back. It's too big. That root's too big to be able to fit in the pot. Doesn't work. So, now they're all in a ceramic pot, and this one here I will put in a ceramic pot for now so it can start hydrating straight away until I put it in the glass propagation vase that I have behind me with my cutting that I am now going to pot up so you can see the first step in the rejuvenation of my beautiful queen. And and how this is all going to be wonderful again in the end. So I will move this beautiful propagation forward and put all these ones on the side for now, and then I can start potting. And I can't wait to see this beautiful cutting looking like a new plant for me. So let me get this all sorted out. So now I've moved all the new propagations back and brought forth the one I made earlier to show you its lovely roots before I put it into soil. Now look at this, people. This has just been an amazing, beautiful propagation. So let's take her out so you can see her roots. Oh, there's a lovely long root going on here. So look at that. That is just absolutely gorgeous. Now you can see the aerial root that I cut. This was a very long one. I just pruned that back, and then it grew out auxiliary roots, as you can see here, that are doing really well. And this long one here. So this is really ready to get potted up now and take off and be wonderful. Wow, look at all those roots. I'm so pleased about this. Look at those leaves. So I have a beautiful plant to replace my queen plant straight away. And this is actually the top part of my queen. So I still have my queen here. So what might seem like a plant that was doomed and the end of it and that's it, I can't save her. No, I'm not giving up on her. Just carry on and prune and propagate, and you will get your plant back if something like this happens. So I've got many chances now, got many vases with lots of propagations, just like this single one here. Now I just want to count how many propagations I actually have going on here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I have 13 more propagations there, as well as this one that I'm potting up, and another propagation that I've already potted up that I want to show you now, and another stem in there. So what did I say now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 cuttings. I got 16 cuttings from this mother plant, and they're all going to be fine, because I'm going to show you the ones that I've potted up. Now, as I said, the leaf on the one that I'm going to show you that's potted was already browned and damaged, but it had viable nodes, so I decided to keep it and see if it will press on and bring out new leaves, and it is doing so well. So the old leaf is still working its magic, and it's faced up. I had it on my table here in the kitchen, and it's pushed itself up, so it's facing more towards the light, and the rest of the plant is just growing out roots under that soil. I know that in its terracotta pot, and it's very happy. So let me get that, show you before I start potting up this one. So here it is. This is my potted Monstera deliciosa. This is the top baby leaf that started browning out, and I thought it was doomed, so I cut it off with a node, and it has grown and grown and is very happy despite the browning parts on it. The rest of the leaf is very green, very fresh looking, and at the bottom it's just started to push out a new bud for a leaf, and the stem by the side of it that, as I said, had no leaves, got roots, and I planted it by the side, and that has also got a bud for a leaf. So let's have a closer look at this. Now if you look here, you will see there's a new leaf bud there, and on the side of this one there's a leaf bump there. So there they are. There's the one leaf coming out at the bottom of the stem, and the one leaf bump coming out of the stem with nothing on it at all. And you can see my soil is perlite, wood bark, and a good potting mix, aerated in a terracotta pot this time, so that it's completely aerated and open, and the water can come out of the bottom too if there should be excess water. But this plant is my first repotting success. It's doing very well. I'm very happy with it. With all its imperfections, it just looks beautiful. I love it like it is actually. I'm just so happy with this plant. So yes, that was a saved piece. The first repotted and saved piece from my queen, Monstera deliciosa, and I'm very happy. So let's get on now with number 2. I'll leave this one on the table by the side so we can keep looking at it and see what the next plant's going to look like in its terracotta pot. My first planted cutting, oh, so gorgeous. All of my propagations, my new beautiful terracotta pot I've got here, completely unglazed so that it's very breathable. Big hole in the bottom, and look at this pot, it's a lovely shape. So this is going to be perfect for this plant here. I can't wait to get this potted up now. So let's start by putting some of the soil in. Good potting mix, perlite bark, all together, aerated. And I've prepared it earlier. So let's just move this to the side so I can make sure that you can see me potting up the pot before I put those beautiful leaves in. So let's get going here. Soil at the bottom first. She's got quite a long air root with auxiliary roots and the new long root at the bottom that I want to make sure there's plenty of space for all of that in here. And in a moment, I'm only going to be able to use one hand. I want to put soil up halfway before I start putting her in, because I don't want the root right down to the bottom, so that when I water and the water goes down to the bottom, she's only got roots up to halfway to start with, where it will be a bit drier soil than down at the bottom. Right, let's get this beautiful propagation into her new pot. And I am so excited about this. Look at that root, it's just like it's reaching down into that pot. It just wants to get going and start its new juvenile life as a Monstera plant in its pot. Right, now, I've got to get the soil in. You can't see, so I'm just going to do this as quickly as possible. You get mess everywhere, I know. I don't think I can tip up this black pot into the other one because it will just go all over the edges. So I have to hold this plant with my one hand because its air root is still quite stiff and it's holding it up to the top of the pot. So I need to get as much soil in around now here so that I'll be able to release it. So there we go. That is the beautiful top part of my Monstera deliciosa, finally potted up into a beautiful terracotta pot that is completely breathable. Now, I did put a little tiny thin stick in the back of the plant with a little bit of twine to hold her up because she's very heavy, top heavy with all of these leaves, and her roots are very, very delicate, and the soil is not holding her in place that well, so she'll topple forward. So just one little tiny stick, and that is enough to balance her out while she starts growing out her roots and filling out her new pot. I just think this is absolutely gorgeous. And I'm really pleased that I had a ready-to-go example to show you what you can do if something happens with your mother Monstera deliciosa plant. You can go in, you can prune it down all the way down the stem. Everywhere there's a node, you can make propagations. I have all of these propagations going on now. And when they've rehydrated, as I said, their leaves will plump out just as much as these ones are here that have been in water for a couple of months. And then there was this one that was browned out at the top, and I just didn't want to let it go. It was such a beautiful little leaf anyway, and it stayed exactly the same with the browning, but the browning hasn't spread at all anywhere. Those parts were already there when I cut it off the mother plant. The rest has actually become much darker, healthier green, so it's very happy. And as I said, I've got leaves coming out on that and the stump at the bottom. Also in a terracotta pot and with very aerated soil. So look how beautiful and heavy and solidly that's standing up without any support. I am absolutely happy and fine with this leaf looking the way it is. I just have a personal affinity with it because I started off this propagation and now it's forming into a beautiful young plant. And now I have two examples of my queen, as I called her, in different pots and in all these propagations. So my plant is still here, she's not gone, she's just not this big jungle that she was before. But one day I might be lucky enough to see all these climb back up the totem and become a beautiful mother plant again. And I'll have a separate example here, a separate example there, and then I will put all those together. to make another big bushy plant. So I want to put this plant into place now. It's going to be living on this cabinet here. So I still have my queen, but she's going to be as a smaller example. So I will still have my Monstera deliciosa here, and it's going to look wonderful. And all the propagations I will be putting in our office room for now and let them do their thing for the next couple of months. And this one will stay on the kitchen table, and I will just be watching with excitement as she starts unfurling the next petiole for the next leaf. Oh, and then the stem as it starts growing up and out. Very, very nice. So let's get these swapped around again so I can get my beautiful new plant into place. Now, I don't want to lift it up and bring her close to the camera and everything because she is very delicate, as I said, top heavy. So I just want to move her from here to there, and that is about it. So let's move her to the side first here. Put this one back over in the corner here. This vase, I just need to empty and put fresh water in so that I can put my last cutting into this propagation vase. So, put this one here a minute. Take this big tall one, and put her over here. She already looks like she's starting to hydrate better already. So that's good. Right, move all the other ones. This one there, these small ones here, these ones here. Take this one out and put it into this glass vase here. Oh, gorgeous. And then all my stems here. Move this pot, put a drip tray, saucer at the bottom, and then move my queen. Ooh. Put her in place. Right to the back because she's got so much leaf work going on at the front. She looks gorgeous in her new spot. I'm happy about this. So, propagations are all over the place. So let's have a little look what we've got going on here. Propagation, 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 propagation. There you see my queen in her new spot. She looks absolutely gorgeous, vibrant, full of life. And I just need to go in and water this after. Water it through because this soil is quite dry in here and she's come directly from soil. So she doesn't want to dry out completely, otherwise she will not be happy. But I know that there will be no clogging up of the soil or overwatering because this is a completely aerated system that I've given this plant this time. So it should do really well, and that will be the same for all the others. So look what you can get out of a Monstera deliciosa that maybe isn't doing that well. That was my whole point with this video. I want to show you we can make mistakes, we can do things wrong, we can't be around our plants if we're away, and then the plant might start to look unhappy. But when you have a plant that grows air roots, when you have plants that are vines, you can always go in and prune back and save every single piece that has a root node on it. So this is all just going to be great. And I'm just going to bring some of these closer so you can get a good look at them in their propagation vases now. So look at this leaf hanging down like that, and then you can see the whole thing in the propagation vase. Exactly the same as my new one over there was, and it will plump up and start growing out, and it's got a leaf bud growing out of that one already. Look at these ones, absolutely beautiful. They will be opened up in a day or two because they were just not getting any moisture. I can see the stem has already plumped out a little bit. So these are on the road to recovery now. So look, absolutely gorgeous. As long as they got water, they're going to do fine. Look at these. Oh, doesn't matter how they look now. Nothing looks perfect all the time. You've got to be able to have the patience to see into the future and realize that all of this will take off, because that's what it does in nature. You give them water, you put them in there, and they will start taking off again. My leaf, my beautiful leaf, is just the prime example of this. I'm so happy with this leaf cutting. I really am. And it is just standing up, boom, boom, so happily. and putting out new leaves. And that is all of my propagations. So that was my Monstera deliciosa revamp, rejuvenating, and realizing that we learn from our mistakes and we have a chance to do something better next time. If we have a plant maybe that can't be propagated like this, you can get yourself another one and then you can try and figure out from the first time around what you did wrong or what happened or the circumstances that caused it to fail and do better next time. And in this case, with the vine, go in, take lots of propagations, and look at me now. What was it? How many did I say I have? 13, 14? I don't know, something like that, 16. There were so many propagations. So, like here, I have 16 separate plants. 16 separate plants. 16 separate chances of getting a plant to survive. So I really hope this is going to work out. So here I'm just going to insert pictures so you can see my beautiful plant close up. In between, as you can see, our two red chairs here in our kitchen, and then look at her leaves as they spread out there with a beautiful canopy, and it looks lovely again. So I'm really happy with the outcome of all this. So all I want to say is get out there and do your best, have fun with your plants, even when it goes wrong, even when it goes right, even when it goes, you don't know, try your best and keep moving forward. That's what it's all about. There are always more examples of the same plant out there so you can try again. And if you have plants that you can revitalize and revamp and you want to, and you have the time and the patience, you can do the same as me and do that too. And then you will enjoy the process of seeing these plants plump up their leaves again, grow out roots, and be ready to be potted on to give you an end result like this. So, all I have to say now is thank you very much once again for watching Gardens and Crystals with me, Wesley Peterson. Please remember to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you know when my next video will be uploaded. And I will see you in another video very, very soon. Goodbye.